Hello there. It is the 21st of August 2023. I'm Karen from KarenTurpin.com. And boy, are we having explosions happening all around, right? The further we move into this year, I think the more intense the energies are becoming. It's becoming quite explosive in certain areas. There's more and more truth coming out. There's more and more people being confronted. Maybe their heads are exploding as well, not quite sure. But boy, are things intense, right? We kind of know that we're heading for something huge, don't we? However, gotta say, I've been awake for a long time, like 2 decades, and that feeling of heading towards something really huge, well, I've been feeling that for 2 decades. So really, I'm kind of at the point of like, can we just get there, please? I'm, ready, let's say. However, I do think it's really important to be able to hold a neutral position in all of this. Why do we want to hold a neutral position? Well, because if we're in a neutral position, we are not in the other places. And the other places are black and white, light and dark, good against evil. We're in duality or in polarity, really. So, years ago, in New Age circles, we talked about coming into the time of unity consciousness. We don't hear that much anymore, when that's quite strange, because it's the time exactly now that we should be creating unity consciousness. Unity consciousness for me was when everybody comes together in unity, community, when all of us were focused on the good, on the beautiful things that we could create, liberty, sovereignty, freedom, truth, all of that stuff, to me represents unity consciousness. And you can see that we've been very not in that in the world, with all of the lies and the deceits, the cover-ups and all of the dark and all of the evil. It is pure evil. So, of course, we say, well, I don't want to be aligned to that dark and that evil. Therefore, I want to be with the good and with the light. And I agree, we do want to be with that. However, as I said, when we've got that, we're still in polarity, duality, right? So what if we could come into the middle, into the 0 point? We really are in the age of divide and conquer, of course, but it doesn't have to be that way. All around us, we're seeing judgments of people's choices. And look, I'll be honest, sometimes I see what people are doing and I think they're bloody stupid for choosing that. Then I try and remind myself a nanosecond later that I don't have the right to judge them. What they want to experience is what they want to experience, and they should have the right to choose, like we all should. It's our right to have free will and choice. I see that they're choosing to experience something through that choice that is going to be very uncomfortable and very painful for them sometimes. I can see that, but I don't have the right to judge them. And to a degree, I don't even have the right to try to stop them, because if it's a choice that they're making, it's a choice that they're making. All I can do is say, well, look, this is how I see things. This is what I've researched. This is the conclusion I've come to. But I can't make anyone do anything, just as nobody should try to make me do anything either. So whether I agree or disagree, or think they should do something or shouldn't do something, well, honestly, it's none of my business. It's kind of none of yours either, unless they're harming someone else. And then that crosses a boundary. And then it becomes all of our business collectively. For example, this whole discussion around human trafficking, child trafficking, and all of that. But this is where we get tangled up again. So suppose a whole load of us think that what they're doing is not okay, and a whole load of us think that it is okay. Now we're at polarity consciousness again. I'm right, you're wrong. And they say, well, we're right, you're wrong. We're in that duality again, right? And if there's more of them that think it's okay to traffic and harm people, if there's more of them that think it's okay than what we do they automatically win and are allowed to continue? Is it just a numbers game? And where does morality fit into this? Because it's never okay to harm another person. It's never okay to harm animals, to harm the environment. None of that is okay. But people put up arguments on that front as well. It's hard work, isn't it? So I saw an interesting video just recently. It's a little bit off track, but I'll share it with you. I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, apparently this video was saying that millions of bees are imported in order to pollinate the avocado trees in Florida. And the discussion was with this vegan who was defending their right to eat avocados because they don't harm anyone, because obviously they're not eating animals. And then the interviewer was saying, but you're responsible for the death of millions of bees because these bees die after they've been, on the avocado trees. And this vegan didn't really appreciate that. That viewpoint went down like a lead balloon, as you can imagine, because vegans like to think that they are innocent of all harm. What about the bees? Anyway, the fact remains there's a lot of division over what's right and what's wrong in all aspects. So let's talk about cutting off body parts, right? Some people encourage it. Personally, I don't think it's a good thing. I think that we are created perfect as we are. We shouldn't be doing things to our body that mess up our gene code, right? As a fully grown adult, if someone wants to chop off bits, well, I guess they can do it. But don't do it to kids. Don't touch the children. The moment a new life is created, it's divine, right? Who are we to influence whether it should live or not? And yet full-term abortion is legal in many places, or almost full-term, I think up to an hour before labour or something. Some people think that's okay. But who has the right to choose whether a baby lives or dies? I will never accept that it's okay to do that. Am I against abortion all out? No, I'm not. But in this instance, I'm talking about full-term abortion. When the baby's been moving and hearing and listening. I've done hypnosis regression with people, and they have regressed to being inside the womb and hearing their mother say to the doctor, I don't want this baby, can we get rid of it? And that's when the baby's, 20 weeks, 24, 28 weeks, that kind of thing. And the baby has got conscious awareness of that. It's hearing that discussion. Who has the right to then kill that child? It's up for discussion. I think it's obvious where I stand on that. Do I judge the people that do that? Do I judge a person that says it should be okay to kill a baby up to an hour before its birth? Well, I got to say, I'm not enlightened yet. Let's just say that. So divide and conquer is an agenda. We see it playing out on a grand scale, and we do all participate in it a little bit. We've been divided more over the last few years probably than any other time. We've judged people, they've judged us. Some of us have got to a place of neutrality about it now. But it has broken families apart. We know that. And I admit the word sheep springs to my mind fairly quickly. And yet, it's not been a good time to be called Karen either. So I've been receiving judgment just because of the name I was given when I was born. It's like, for crikey's sake, let's just settle down here, shall we? I've judged others, they've judged me, you've done the same, none of us are innocent. However, the spotlight of truth is shining brightly now. What is revealed and what's going to be revealed is going to be amazing. But anyway, it's likely to cause even more polarity because it is going to be explosive. I think we will see more mental breakdown as people come to face what they've done, the consequences of their actions and deeds. Because cognitive dissonance can only hold for a certain amount of time until even it reaches breaking point. Denial can only exist in darkness, but the light is shining brightly now, right in your face, and it's going to get brighter yet. We really probably haven't seen anything yet, by far. People should be held accountable for what they've done, I believe, my opinion. And I think it probably will come to that, but it feels painfully slow. But I still do believe the wheels are turning on that. Probably we're not even being told about things that are good like that, really. But anyway. This is a world of cause and effect, and there are repercussions and consequences for our choices. That's natural, and it has to be that way, really, because without it, it would be a free-for-all, really. I think if everybody could just understand that you can't go around harming people, it's not okay. And some people seem to get away with terrible crimes, and it can be hard to accept that. I feel it. Yet, I do believe that it will all be sorted out in the end. Truth always reveals. And something will happen somewhere that brings everything back into balance. It's kind of like an eye for an eye, if you like. And I've wondered that as there is an equal and opposite force for every action, I've wondered what the level of good would look like that is the equal and opposite to the level of evil that we're seeing being revealed now. And that's kind of my hope for the future, because it's been so dark and so covered up and so evil here that as the light comes back in now, imagine how much beauty could be the opposite and equal force. That's something I'm pondering on. So the evil that we are now seeing, the good will certainly replace it. And I think that's where we're heading now, or beginning to step into. And that gives me hope that we will have a brighter future. When I look around me, I do see good things happening. And there is so much beauty on this planet, and even beautiful hearts within people. And that uplifts me. And it reminds me that what we focus on, we get more of. So I don't focus on the dark, because I know that the more light that we bring in, the more balance is going to occur on the planet. And we have to see into the dark so that we can bring it up. And I think we have to trust that there are enough good people in the right places to stop the forces of evil in their tracks, because surely now is the time, more than ever before. So do we have to live in duality any longer? Could you imagine a world that was filled only with love and joy and peace? Well, I can vision that. I see that in my visions, and I'm focusing on creating that. And I see it as an elevated position. So beyond duality, beyond even the duality of light and dark, it's a place beyond. It really is, you could say, the 0 point, right? The neutral position, but it's not equal, I feel, with light and dark. I feel as if it's an elevated position beyond the polarity that exists here. It's a place beyond. Where is that? Is it a higher dimension? Well, it's certainly beyond 5D with all of its distortions, that's for sure. Is it a parallel Earth? Maybe, because even now many of us live in a different reality in the same space as someone else who is not experiencing such a good life. That's all happening in this space, overlaid. Whatever happens next, we need a consciousness shifting event that is so big that it will spur people into action. So the fake virus did that to some degree. We have to make sure that the people don't fall back to sleep again, though that's a bit of a problem. Plus, we have to continue waking up more of the sleepers, or the sheepers, as you might like to call them. I sometimes do. It's my judgment again, you see. So we still have a big job to do. And history has shown how many people backflip at the slightest hint of a new variant. So let's see what August and September and the rest of the year brings. Because more truth can only be a good thing, right? However, I do also think it's important to focus within ourselves. So look, clearly I have admitted that I judge people too. I do. I try not to judge them for too long, a nanosecond probably. And then I realise what I've done and I'm like, ooh, that actually wasn't very nice to call them a sheep. If it wasn't so funny, I might be able to pull myself back from it quicker. However, I am only human and I'm learning just the same as you. So I'm not in full judgment of people because I can see that we all learn in the way we need to learn. I've made some stupid mistakes in the past and I've learnt from them. And I've made stupid mistakes in the past that I haven't learnt from. And I've had to go back and do the same stupid mistake again in order to learn. And that's really what we're all doing, right? We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to wake up. And even though I think I've been awake for a long time, I'm waking to new levels recently that I never even saw was possible. I've had some major revelations in the last 3 months that are amazing and very exciting. And again, I find myself in this space like I was actually closer to 30 years ago, when I would try and say something to someone and they would go, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And they'd walk away. And that was the first level of awakening and trying to help people awake. And now I'm seeing this other whole level of reality. And when I touch on it with people, they're like, don't know what you're talking about. And they're walking away. And it's like, wow, I'm doing it all over again, like 30 years later. And I know in time that everyone will get there and it will all open up for all of us. And I think that that's a really exciting time. ahead. So I'm not yet ready to talk here on my YouTube video about the new level of realization that I've got. But let me say, heads will explode. This is an explosive time, and it's only going to get bigger, more explosive, opening up to concepts that we never thought of. And in all fairness, probably concepts that we have probably judged people for having. In the same way that they used to call us conspiracy theorists, and now it's being proven accurate. Even in the Australian Weekender, they've validated some of that. There you go. It is a time of reveal. The spotlight is on truth. And hold on to your hat, because there will be many more explosions to come. As I said, I think a good place to be is not in duality anymore. It's rising above that. The 0 point field, we could call that unity consciousness, a unified field, right? And maybe that's our next step. Maybe that's where we need to be focusing our attention. And people say, well, you know, Earth is a planet of duality and it's always going to be that way. And I'm pondering, what if, though? What if the elevation is part of moving away from duality? Kind of like the Avatar movie when we see Pandora. I wonder, is that possible for this Earth? Maybe not this Earth. Maybe it's a parallel. Exciting times ahead, don't you think? Make sure you comment below and tell me what you think. Tell me where you think we're heading next. Have a great week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.